The Crusades, a series of religious wars between the 11th and 13th centuries, stand as a pivotal epoch in medieval history. These campaigns, sanctioned by the Latin Church, primarily targeted the Islamic Levant. The First Crusade, launched in 1095, epitomized the blend of religious fervor and military ambition. Pope Urban II's call to arms ignited enthusiasm across Europe, urging Christian knights to reclaim the Holy Land. The Crusades were, at their core, framed as a response to a religious imperative. The call to arms resonated deeply within a society steeped in Christian piety. The belief that Jerusalem, the site of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection, was under the control of non-believers fueled a sense of outrage and injustice among Christian Europe. The Church, wielding considerable influence, actively promoted the Crusades as a righteous struggle against infidels, promising spiritual rewards for those who took up the cross. Pilgrimage to the Holy Land held profound religious significance for Christians, and the Crusades were often presented as a means of safeguarding access to these sacred sites. Stories of Muslim persecution of Christian pilgrims circulated widely, further inflaming religious fervor and bolstering support for military action. The Pope's declaration that participation in the Crusades could offer remission of sins proved a powerful incentive. For many, the prospect of absolving their sins and securing a place in heaven outweighed the risks and hardships associated with such a perilous journey. The concept of holy war, deeply ingrained in the medieval Christian psyche, provided a theological justification for violence in the name of God. Crusaders viewed themselves as soldiers of Christ, waging a righteous war against the enemies of their faith. This belief imbued their actions with a sense of divine purpose, legitimizing their conquests and minimizing moral qualms. Chroniclers and preachers of the time often depicted Muslim adversaries as inherently evil and barbaric, further solidifying the perception of the Crusades as a just and necessary defense of Christendom. However, it's crucial to note that religious zeal, while a powerful motivator, was never the sole driving force behind the Crusades. While many embarked on these expeditions genuinely inspired by faith, their motivations were often intertwined with more worldly aspirations. Examining the economic and political dimensions of the Crusades reveals a more complex picture, where religious fervor intersected with desires for material gain and political advantage. While religious fervor formed the bedrock of the Crusades, the allure of economic gain exerted a powerful pull on many participants. For younger sons of noble families, often bypassed for inheritance under primogeniture laws, the Crusades presented an opportunity to acquire land, wealth, and status abroad. The prospect of carving out their own domains in the newly conquered territories proved irresistible to these ambitious individuals. Merchants and traders, particularly those from Italian city-states like Venice and Genoa, recognized the vast commercial potential of the Crusades. The establishment of trading posts in Levantine ports promised lucrative access to eastern markets, spices, silks, and other valuable commodities. The Crusades therefore became intertwined with the expansion of European trade networks, fueling economic growth and prosperity for those who capitalized on these opportunities. The Crusades also provided avenues for upward mobility within European society. Individuals of humble origins could rise through the ranks of Crusader armies, distinguishing themselves through valor and military skill. The spoils of war, including ransoms, plunder, and land grants, offered a chance to escape poverty and attain a level of affluence previously unimaginable. The economic incentives associated with the Crusades, however, weren't without their downsides. The financing of these large-scale expeditions placed a significant strain on European economies. Kings and nobles often resorted to imposing heavy taxes or taking out loans from Italian merchants, leading to long-term financial burdens. The Crusades, while offering opportunities for wealth creation, also carried the risk of economic instability and hardship. The pursuit of economic gain, while a significant factor, doesn't fully encompass the multifaceted nature of Crusader motivations. Political considerations, often intertwined with religious and economic aspirations, played a pivotal role in shaping the course of these historical events. Beyond the realms of faith and fortune, the Crusades served as instruments of political maneuvering and territorial expansion. For European monarchs, these expeditions offered opportunities to extend their influence, weaken rivals, and solidify their power. The conquest of new territories in the Levant held the promise of increased revenues, strategic advantages, and enhanced prestige on the international stage. The Byzantine Empire, facing pressure from the Seljuk Turks in Anatolia, saw the Crusades as a means of bolstering its defenses and regaining lost territories. The appeal for Western aid, however, often backfired, as Crusader armies, driven by their own agendas, sometimes turned against their Byzantine allies. The sack of Constantinople in 1204, a blatant power grab motivated by Venetian ambitions, exemplifies the cynical manipulation of the Crusades for political ends. Within the Crusader states themselves, political rivalries and power struggles often overshadowed the original religious objectives. Factions within the Crusader nobility vied for control of resources, territory, and influence, leading to internal conflicts that weakened their overall position. The Crusades, initially conceived as a united Christian front, often devolved into a tangled web of competing political interests. The papacy, too, played a significant role in leveraging the Crusades for political gain. Popes sought to assert their authority over secular rulers, utilizing the concept of holy war to rally support and intervene in European affairs. The Crusades, therefore, became entangled in the complex power dynamics between the church and secular states, serving as a tool for both cooperation and conflict. While the Crusades undoubtedly had